Hold on, look. The Beatles planned this by the song Helter Skelter. Yoko Ono and the Mansons were working together through the whole thing. That's why it was to them art to slash or murder Shannon Harps outside the clubhouse in Seattle. They have been in on this as Ripper Hatters running a snuff film. The White Album, all of that weird stuff, Revolution #9, was advertisement for John and Yoko's underground snuff film markets with Warhol and Bob Dylan in them. They have killed many people and filmed them and sold them discreetly. They have done all sorts of seedy, unseemly things with juveniles through Epstein and Mapplethorpe for years and years. These people are amoral sickos. I don't believe John Lennon really died. But if you do believe that John Lennon really died, I suggest you look at the people who did all of these other things, like McCartney and Ringo Starr and Manson, because these people are advocates through Warhol for the Mancini family. They're using John Lennon's Houdini as a sleight of hand. They're working out of Laurel Canyon with such a plot line would incubate, because that's where Houdini lived. That's where Errol Flynn lived, and working with Reagan, they helped Adolf Hitler escape. That's why the name Casper and Spirit Foundation are so provocative. These people are criminally insane. They refuse to address the climate crisis. They refuse to answer any questions. They keep using this trick of saying John Lennon really died. And everybody believes John Lennon really died because the media has said in a very powerful voice that John Lennon really died. What they've never succeeded in doing is explaining why they were more concerned with somebody who had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with it than the people who wrote the script. And the reason is because they are running a snuff film syndicate. People from Warhol claim what murdering Cersei Kennedy, they're getting even and settling accounts for Ringo Starr and Helter Skelter. Don't you want me to make you was the fundamental concept that they were impinging with the help of John Schulman's partner, Leslie Katz, on what they were calling the persona psyche. And they got this going through a computer mistranslator genius at Carnegie Mellon named Jaime Carmidel for the Neva Corporation. When I was just a 17, 18-year-old kid, confused about my identity because, for one thing, I had been tortured and we had moved to get away, and I was in trauma. And I was deaf, and I was being rejected and trying to sort out, am I being rejected because I'm deaf? Am I being rejected because I'm not Jewish? Am I being and they run all of this helter-skelter through Jaime Carbonell's deliberate mistranslation feed and send it through the United Nations with Eno all over the world, claiming that I had something to do with John Lennon's murder when I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Nothing. And they were using Helter Skelter to weaponize the AIDS virus for the people who did this whole thing. They were saying, do you or don't you want me to stick you with it? That was their whole thing, poison him. That was what Sound Mental Health was doing. They claimed that they were providing me protection from abuse when I crawled here in homelessness, 2 years in homelessness, after the rape of my deaf advocate who dared to teach me sign language. And they murdered my deaf coach while I was out here, as well as the girl they Ripper attacked, snuff film operators. And you admire these people. You say Reagan didn't know, he's behind that. You say McCartney is a god, he's behind that. You say Yoko Ono stands up for the queers, she doesn't. Sean Strubb was outside the Dakota with Mark David Chapman. He was in the Holocaust community who, along with Michael Foucault, were such masochists that they deliberately gave themselves AIDS. And they're like, if you get in front of us in the line of attention at the open mic, we're going to stick you with it. And the people in the administration at Sound Mental Health poisoned me in the mouth. They denied my right to go to school, lying about all of it. That's what they've been doing. They're lying about all of it. That's the bottom line. They're lying about all of it. You have no right to believe that John Lennon didn't commit a Houdini because the evidence shows that he did. The evidence shows he used a double. He conjured a fantasy, and he even advertised it by calling it double fantasy. This is evidence. You have no right to ignore the evidence. You have no right to put my name in a script where there's just a blank, and you write my name, and you say that therefore I knew, therefore I should have known. You scribbled my name there. It's the people who scribbled my name there who should be apprehended. Don't give me this line. They scribbled Reagan's name there. That's what I believed at first until he started doing this stuff. Now I know better. Don't give me this stuff that just because there are variations on their names, like Ronnie Zuzinski and Kasparowski for Ronnie and Casper, that doesn't mean them. Kurosawa used to do that all the time. It was his technique in The Most Beautiful. He used variations on the actresses' real names for their names in the movie. So just because they use slightly varied names doesn't mean that Donald isn't Donald, and you know who Donald is. So don't give me that you have no right to question what happened. You have no right not to question what happened. And you have no right to claim that I should have known any of it, because it's outrageous that it was done in such broad daylight by these crude, rude, ruthless mayhem, ripper hatters. And nobody questioned it but me. That's why you're coming after me, because I questioned it, not because I didn't, but because I tried to get to the bottom of it. And all of it has come unwound by this bullshit about COVID-19 and John Schulman. You refuse to wake up. You think if you worship the totem of Reagan and McCartney that all will be well. It won't. They're liars. They're ripper hatters. They were behind this whole stupid nonsense.